Hey guys, it's Amelia. 안녕하세요. 지금 Amelia입니다. 근데 주는 혹사 아니에요. I'm back with another monthly reading wrap-up. I'm very excited to talk to you about the books I read this month. I only read 3 books this month. I know that's like a crazy comparison to like August. I read 11 books, I think. And yeah, we're just getting into that time of the year, you know, the fall season where I like don't want to be here anymore. So like I was procrastinating a lot and I didn't read as much. Also though, I read a book that really slowed me down at the beginning of the month and I feel like book fatigue, I guess. Is that a thing? I don't really know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a book block. Like I'm struggling getting through books, is what's happening. Even though they're really good, I just like don't really want to read anymore. I'm having a reading block, so hopefully I'll push through that, because there's some books that I really want to get through next month, so we'll see. First up, I read The Magicians by Lev Grossman. So many people were recommending this book to me. I was recommended it, people were saying it's sort of like an adult Harry Potter. I could see that, I could see why you say that, but I really didn't like this book. This book was written in 2009, and boy does it not stand up to the test of time. Like, goddamn, it was like, main character is a male, teenage, young adult, and it's all about him, and the females in the book are okay, and the plot was boring as hell, and there's some language used in the book that is really ableist and awful, and I literally almost put the book down twice because of the language they used. So, not great. There's also a TV show of this book on, I think it was CW, but now it's on Netflix, and I've heard that the TV show is better than the book. Maybe I'll check it out. The idea, the concept behind this whole universe sounds cool, but this book was awful. Let's explain. Deep dive into what's happening in here. I would describe it as a mix between Narnia and Harry Potter, but for adults. That's like valid, okay? The main character, Quentin, lives in New York City, in Brooklyn, I think. He's got some buds. He is part of the gifted and talented thing at school, so he's super smart, and he's going for a college interview. And when he shows up to the college interview, his interviewer is dead. And he's like, holy heck, oh my god. And then he gets a letter, and all of a sudden, he ends up in, like, a Hogwarts college. It's a wizard college. And so he goes to this wizard college. I feel like it's more like Narnia than Harry Potter, honestly. And I say that because in this universe, there's a book series that is essentially Narnia. And he, as an adult, is obsessed with the Narnia books, which, like, okay, valid. Like, I'm obsessed with Harry Potter by Daniel Radcliffe. Like, he was such a great author. And then the way they get to this wizarding school is, like, essentially through a wardrobe. Like, he goes through something, and then he ends up at the school. So it's got that aspect going on, which is interesting. Okay, cool. Like, that's totally my dream as well. But then the book is broken into, I want to say 5 parts or something like that. Literally, this book is, what, 400 pages? You don't get to the actual plot until you get to 400 pages in. 400 pages of this book, he's going through his 5 years at college, and it was the boringest thing I've ever read. How do you make wizard school boring? How? How did you do that? How did you do that? I don't understand. Literally, there's 400 pages of him in 5 years of college at wizard school. And it was boring. There was nothing. Nothing happened. Literally, there were no events happening. There was like 2 pretty weird things that happened that were like mini climaxes, I guess, in his school life. And neither of them were like thrilling. You were like, that's pretty weird. All right. It's just, I'm just so frustrated about it. Like, it had such good potential, but the writing was, like, mediocre. There was nothing exciting about it. And then also, the language used in it was awful. So, that's just my unpopular opinion, I guess, because apparently people like this series. I'm upset though because I got all 3 books out expecting I was gonna like it, and I liked the general concept of it, but I hate the writing, and also there was no plot. So I did enjoy the last 100 pages of the book where they finally like get into like the Narnia thing going on and they have this little adventure. That was fun. That was exciting. But the characters like don't have any character growth. They're all very ho-hum. Like, the main character is essentially like a Holden Caulfield. Like, he's miserable. He's at college wizard school, but he's miserable. And, like, everything sucks. He's living out his dreams, but everything sucks. And I was like, okay, I get that. Like, yes. There was no growth. I don't know. I guess he was supposed to be like, this is realistic. This is how life is. It also has this aspect of being, like, super deep and meaningful without actually saying anything, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like it's all one big metaphor. I can't. I just can't. I can't with it. I really... Oh my god, this book frustrated me so much. I was just so upset the whole time. But I finished it. So, what do you guys think about this book? Like, please let me know. I just didn't like this book. Anyway, I don't recommend this one. But if you've read it, let me know what you guys thought down below. Because I'm really hung up. I'm upset. I'm really hung up on the fact that it wasn't good. I'm upset about it. I read this whole thing. Next, I read King of Scars, which is the first book in the Nikolai duology from the Grishaverse series. If you don't know the Grishaverse series, you need to read it. It is so good. It is a young adult novel about this really cool world. There's, like, elemental magic, sort of like Avatar in it. The characters are all so genuinely written and so interesting, and the plots are amazing. I love this series so much. If you haven't read the series yet, though, you should start with the book Shadow and Bone, and there's 3 books in that series, and then there are 2 books in the next series, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and then you should read this one after. So this is like deep in the series. I'm really excited because the author just announced that the sequel to this is coming out in March 2021. I'm so excited. But this book was so good. Oh, another stunner. Like, God bless. Leigh Bardugo literally is just churning out the good books. This book is huge. I read it in like 3 days. I don't want to spoil anything, and since this is later on in the series, I'm not going to say too much about the plot, but it follows Nikolai, which is the prince of the land. He is very cool and interesting. He sort of puts on different masks for who he's with, and he's got all these different, like, personalities, and he's sort of just like a charming, cool little prince, but he has a dark past, of course, which is always great. And it is about his adventure to defeat his demons. And then it also follows another character, Nina, who is from the Six of Crows series, and her adventures in Fjerda, which was also exciting, and her being all revolutionary and stuff. So it was very interesting. It was very cool, and I love this series so much, and I hope she puts out more books, because oh my god, this universe is so good. You need to check these out. And lastly, I just finished Children of Blood and Bone. It was very good. I really liked this book. It is also pretty large, 500-ish pages. It is a young adult fantasy novel written by a Nigerian-American author. It was really cool. I'm really into books that have their, like, fantasy based in, like, cultural aspects. I hope I'm saying these characters' names right, because I don't actually know how they're pronounced. It doesn't have, like, a thing to tell you how to do that. But there's 4 main characters. There is Zelly, who is, like, the revolutionary, headstrong younger sister who happens to have magic. And then there is Zane, her older brother, who does not have magic, but he's, like, super strong, protective older brother, cool. There is Amari, who is a sheltered princess who lives in the castle but escapes. And then her older brother Enan, who is the prince in line to become the king, and he is very aggressive and going to rule his country, and his father has raised him very poorly, so he has lots of problems. And it's just really, it's an interesting story. It's got this whole dichotomy between these two pairs of siblings and what happens when they meet. And there's some romance going on, but there's also some magic and the problems with the magic in the country. The main concept in the book is that there are people who have magic, and there's, I think, 7 or 8 different types of magic. There's, like, reapers who have control of, like, death and skeletons and stuff. There are healers who can heal. There are mind people who could mess with your thoughts and your mind. There are water benders, essentially. Fire benders. And there's a couple other ones, but I don't really know. So there's the different types of magic, but about 10 years ago, the king destroyed all magic, and he murdered all of the magicians who are older than 3 or something. So all the parents are dead, which is sad, and all the kids have sad backstories, and all the kids have, like, repressed magic and can't use their magic because they, like, don't have it anymore. But then suddenly magic starts awakening again, and the king is like, oh no, I'm gonna have to murder all these people again, like, no magic. And then the people are like, let's bring back magic, we gotta go on this adventure. And it's about the adventure of these kids and their siblings bringing back magic or stopping it. I don't know what's gonna win, good or evil. I'm doing a very bad job of describing this book, but it was very good. The plot was fun and adventurous. The characters are all interesting. The writing was interesting because at times it was a bit confusing to understand where the characters physically were, because suddenly they'd be standing and then within the next line they'd be lying down, but it never described them getting there, which I thought was an interesting. But that only happened a few times, and besides that, the writing was great, so. A lot of people were talking about this book online, so that's why I ended up getting it, and I did really enjoy it. But another reason I really like it is because the author loves BTS. It says she went to Harvard, like, damn! And also, she studied all different mythology, which is super cool. And then it says in her free time, she watches BTS music videos. And, like, me too, girl, me too. It also touches on differences in skin color and the discrimination the different people face based on that, which is an important topic. And I thought it was really great how that was, like, subtly weaved into the story so that it's more digestible, I guess, as a reader. Like, if you didn't understand those concepts in real life and how racism affects people and discrimination based on skin color affects people, I think you would be able to connect with that in this story and understand that in this story, which I think is really cool. So this is really good, check it out. And there's a sequel as well. I don't know if I'll be able to get it because my library has it, like, backed up. There's, like, 5 holds on it, so I don't know when I'm going to be getting them. So those are the books I read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any recommendations down below. Also, what do you guys think about that Magician series? I don't know, I'm sort of annoyed. This upcoming month, I am planning on reading half of Yellow Sun. It is about conflict in Nigeria. I think it's like a historical fiction. I don't know anything about Nigeria, so I'm excited to learn. I don't know what else I'm going to read this month. This might be it, so we'll see. It's gonna be October, which is spooky season, so maybe I'll try to find some spooky books to read, but I don't really know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!